Om Sai Ram. Sri Sai Sacharita, Chapter 28. Sparrows drawn to Shirdi. Lakshmi Chand, Burhanpure Lady, Megha. Preliminary. Sai is not finite or limited. He dwells in all beings, from ants and insects to the god Brahman. He pervades all. Sai was well versed in the knowledge of the Vedas as well as in the science of self realization. As he was proficient in both these, he was well fitted to be the Sadguru. Anyone, though learned, but not able to awaken the disciples and establish in them the self realization, does not deserve to be called Sadguru. Generally, the worldly parents give birth to the body, but death invariably follows life. But Sadguru does away with both life and death, and so he is more kind and merciful than anybody. Sai Baba once said that, let his man, devotee, be at any distance, 1,000 kos away from him. He will be drawn to Shirdi like a sparrow, with a thread tied to his feet. This chapter describes the stories of 3 such sparrows. The first one, Lala Lakshmi Chand. This gentleman was first serving in the Sri Venkateshwara Press in Mumbai, then in the railway department, and afterwards in the firm of Messrs. Raleigh Brothers and Company as a munshi, clerk. He got the contact of Baba in 1910. 1 or 2 months before Christmas, he saw in his dream at Santa Cruz, a suburban in Mumbai, an old man with a beard standing and surrounded by his bhaktas. A few days later, he went to the house of his friend Mr. Dattatreya Manjunath Bijur to hear the kirtan of Das Ganu. It was and is always the practice of Das Ganu to keep Baba's picture in front of the audience while doing the kirtan. Lakshmi Chand was surprised to see the features of the old man he saw in his dream tallied exactly with those in the picture, and thus he came to the conclusion that the old man he saw in his dream was none other than Baba himself. The sight of this picture, Das Ganu's Kirtan, and the life of the same Tukaram on which Das Ganu discoursed, all these things made deep impression on his mind, and he decided to go to Shirdi. It is always the experience of the Bhaktas that God always helps them in their search for Sadguru and other spiritual endures. That very night, a friend named Shankar Rao knocked at his door and asked him whether he would accompany him to Shirdi. His joy knew no bound, and he at once decided to go to Shirdi. He borrowed rupees 15 from his cousin and after making due preparations left for Shirdi. In the train, he and his friend Shankar Rao did some bhajan, sang religious songs and inquired about Sai Baba with some fellow passengers, 4 Mohammedans who were returning to their place near Shirdi. They all told them that Sai Baba was a great saint living in Shirdi for many years. When they reached Kopargaon, he wanted to buy some good govas for offering it to Baba, but he was so much enwrapped in the scenery and sights that he forgot to purchase them. When they were nearing Shirdi, he was reminded of the govas. Just then he saw an old woman with a gova basket on her head running after the tonga. The tonga was stopped and he gladly purchased some fruits when the woman said, "Take all the rest and offer them on my behalf to Baba." The fact that he had intended to purchase govas but had forgotten to do so, and the old woman's encounter and her devotion to Baba, all these were pleasant surprise to both the friends. And Lakshmi Chand thought that in his mind that the old woman might be someone related to the old man he saw in the dream. Then he drove on and came to Shirdi, and on seeing flags of the masjid, they saluted them. With puja materials in hand, they went to the masjid and worshipped Baba with due formality. Lakshmi Chand was moved and was extremely happy to see Baba. He was enwrapped with Baba's feet as a bee with a sweet-smelling lotus. Then Baba spoke as follows. Cunning fellow, he does bhajan on the way and inquires from others. Why ask others? Everything we should see with our own eyes. Where is there a necessity to question others? Just think of yourself whether your dream is true or not. Where was the necessity to have a darshan by taking loan from a Marwadi? Is the heart's desire now satisfied? Hearing these words, Lakshmi Chand was wonderstruck as Baba's omnipresence and omniscience. He was at loss of words to know how Baba could know so much about all the things that was happening en route from his house to Shirdi. The chief thing to note in this respect is that Baba never liked people to borrow and take loan for his darshan and celebrating any holiday or making any pilgrimage. Sanja. At noon, when Lakshmi Chand was sitting for meals, he got some sanja, the white pudding, from a devotee as prasad. He was pleased to have it. Next day also he expected it but got nothing, so he was anxious to get it again. Then on the third day at the noon aarti time, Barbo Sahib Jog asked Baba, what naivadya should he bring? Baba told him to bring sanja, and then the bhaktas brought 2 pots full of sanja. Lakshmi Chand was very hungry and he had some pain in his back. Then Baba said to him, it's good for you, you are hungry. Take sanja and some medicine for the pain in the back. He was again wonderstruck to see Baba read his mind and spoke out what was passing there. How omniscient was Baba. Evil eye. During this visit, Lakshmi Chand also witnessed one night the procession of Chavdi. Baba then suffered from some cough. He thought that this suffering of Baba might be due to somebody's evil eye. Next morning, when he went to the masjid, Baba spoke to Shama as follows. I suffered last night from some cough. Is it due to some evil eye? I think that somebody's evil eye has worked on me and so I am suffering. In this case, Baba spoke out everything that was passing in Lakshmi Chand's mind. On seeing all these proofs of Baba's omniscience and kindness to his bhaktas, he fell prostrate at Baba's feet and said, I am much blessed with your darshan. Ever be kind and merciful to me and protect me always. There is no other God to me in this world except you. Let my mind be ever erupt in your bhajan and feet, and let your grace protect me from the miseries of this world, and let me ever chant your name and be happy. After getting Baba's udi and blessings, he returned home with his friend, much pleased and contented, and was singing Baba's glory on the way. He remained a staunch devotee of Baba afterwards and always sent garlands of flowers, camphor, dakshina with any person or his acquaintance bound to Shirdi. The second being Burhanpur lady. Now let us turn to another sparrow devotee. One lady in Burhanpur saw in her dream Sai Baba coming to her door and begging khichdi, that is rice cooked with dal and salt, for his meals. On waking up, she saw nobody at her door. However, she was pleased with the vision and told it to all, including her husband. He was employed in a postal department, and when he was transferred to Akola, both husband and wife, who were devout persons, decided to go to Shirdi. Then on a suitable day, they left for Shirdi and after visiting Gomati Tirtha on the way, reached Shirdi and stayed there for 2 months. Every day they went to the masjid, performed Baba's worship and passed their time happily. The couple came to Shirdi to offer khichdi as naivedya, but for the first 14 days, somehow or the other, it could not be offered. The lady did not like the delay and the tardiness. Then on the 15th day, she came at noon to the masjid with her khichdi. There she found that Baba and others were already sitting for meals and that the curtain was drawn. Nobody dared to enter it when the curtain was down, but the lady could not wait. She lifted the curtain and entered. Strange to say that Baba seemed to be that day hungry for khichdi and wanted that thing first. And when the lady came in with the dish, Baba was delighted and began to eat the morsel after morsel of khichdi. On seeing the earnestness of Baba in this respect, everybody was wonderstruck, and those who heard the story of khichdi were convinced about his extraordinary love for his devotees. Now the third sparrow, Megha. Now let us go to the third sparrow, Megha of Vimangaon. Was a simple and illiterate Brahmin cook of Rao Bahadur H.V. Sathe. He was a devotee of Shiva and always chanted the 5 syllables Om Namah Shivaya. He did not know the Sandhya nor its chief mantra, the Gayatri. Rao Bahadur Sathe was interested in him and taught him the Sandhya and the Gayatri. Sathe told him that Sai Baba of Shirdi was embodiment of Shiva and made him start for Shirdi. At the Broad railway station, he learned that Sai Baba was a Muslim and his simple orthodox mind was much perturbed at the prospect of going down to a Muslim, and he prayed to his master not to send him there. His master, however, insisted on going there and gave him a letter of introduction through his father-in-law Ganesh Damodar alias Dada Kelkar Shirdi to introduce him to Sai Baba. When he reached Shirdi and went to the masjid, Baba was very ignorant and would not allow him to enter. Kick out the rascal, roared Baba, and then said to Megha, you are a high caste Brahmin, I am a low Muslim. You will lose your caste by coming here. Just get away. On hearing these words, Megha began to tremble. He was wondering as to how Baba had come to know about all this, what was passing in his mind. He stayed there for some days, serving Baba in his own way, but was not convinced. Then he went home, and then he went to Triambakeshwar, and then stayed there for a year and a half. Then again he returned to Shirdi. This time, at the intersection of Dada Kelkar, he was allowed to enter the masjid and stay in Shirdi. Sai Baba's help was for Megha was not through an oral instruction. He worked on Megha's mind internally, with the result that he was considerably changed and benefited. Then Megha began to look at Sai Baba as the incarnation of Shiva. In order to worship Shiva, bay leaves were required, and Megha used to go miles and miles to bring them. And Megha used to worship his Shiva and Baba. His practice was to worship all the deities in the village and then come to the masjid, and after saluting Baba's Gadi, he worshipped Baba, and after doing some service, shampooing of Baba's legs, drank the washing tirtha of Baba's feet. Once it so happened that he came to masjid without worshipping Khandoba at the door of the temple was closed. Baba did not accept his worship and sent him again, and the door was open. Then Megha found the door open, worshipped the deity, and then returned to Baba as usual. Ganges bath. On a Makar Shankranti day, Megha wanted to besimmer the body of Baba with sandal paste and bathe him with Ganges water. Baba was first unwilling to undergo this, but at his repeated request, he consented. Megha had to traverse a distance of 8 kos, going and returning, to bring the sacred water from the Gomati river. He brought the water, made all preparations for the bath at noon, and asked Baba to get ready for the same. Then Baba again asked him to spare him from the bath, saying that as a fakir he had nothing to do with Ganges water, but Megha did not listen to him. He knew that Shiva is pleased with Abhisheka, the sacred bath, on the auspicious day. Baba then consented, came down and sat on a wooden board and projecting his head said, "Oh Megha, do at least this favor. Head is the most important organ of the body, so pour water over the head only. It is equivalent to the whole bath." "All right," said Megha, and lifting the water pot, began to pour it on the head. And in doing so, he was so much overwhelmed with love and cried, "Har Har Gange! Hail Goddess Ganga!" and emptied the pot in the whole body. He kept the pot aside and began to look at Baba. And to his surprise and amazement, he found that only Baba's head was drenched while his body was quite dry. Trident and Pindi. Megha worshipped Baba at 2 places. In the masjid, he worshipped Baba in person, and in the Wada, Baba's big picture given by Nana Sahib Chandorkar. This he did for 12 months. Then, in order to appreciate his devotion and confirm his faith, Baba gave him a vision. One morning, when Megha was still lying down on his bed with his eyes closed, but internally awake, he saw clearly Baba's form. Baba, knowing him to be awake through Akshata, rice grains marked with kumkumam, and said, "Megha, draw a trident," and disappeared. Hearing Baba's word, he eagerly opened his eyes and saw no Baba, but only the rice grains spread here and there. He then went to Baba and told him about the vision and asked permission to draw a trident. Baba said, "Did you not hear my words? Why are you asking me? Of course, I asked you to draw the trident. It was no vision but direct order. My words are always pregnant with meaning and never hollow." Megha said, "I thought you woke me up, but all the doors were closed, so I was doubtful and thought it was a vision." Baba rejoined, "I require no doors to enter. I have no form. I am always alive everywhere. As a wire puller, I carry on all my actions of the man who trusts me and emerges in me." Megha returned to the Wada, drew a red trident on the wall near Baba's picture. Next day, a Ramdasi Bhakta came from Pune, saluted Baba and offered him a pindi, which is a Shivlinga. At this time, Megha turned up there. Baba said to him, "See, Shankar has come. Protect him now." Megha was pleasantly surprised to see the pindi. Also at the same time, in the Wada, Kaka Sahib Dishit was standing with a towel on his head and after taking bath, and was remembering Sai when he saw the pindi before his mental vision. While he was wondering about this, Megha came and showed him the pindi presented to him by Baba. Dikshit was very happy to know that this pindi exactly tallied with the one he saw a few minutes before in his vision. In few days after drawing trident was complete, Baba installed the pindi near the big picture with Megha worshipping it. The worship of Shiva was dear to Megha, and by drawing the trident and the installation of the pindi, Baba confirmed his faith therein. After continuous service of Baba for many years, doing regular worship and aarti every noon and evening, Megha passed away in 1912. Then Baba passed his hand over his mortal remains and said, "This was a true devotee of mine." Baba also ordered on his expense the funeral dinner that should be given to the Brahmins, and this order was carried out by Kaka Sahib Rishi. Woe to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.